All right. Hello, everybody. Let's see who we got in here. It looks like we've got Mr. Wrath of Wood, the wonderful Mr. Cobalt Steel, and Mr. Ashed. Glad to have you guys in here. Yeah, I just wanted to do some Minecraft, just like I always do. You know, I'm kind of sleepy today, feeling kind of low energy. It was actually pretty funny right before I started the stream. Well, when I set up the stream and went into my starting soon screen, I was just sitting here and I was just like, oh man, I'm tired. And then I started yawning a bunch. And I was like, uh oh. But I feel fine. This will be nice and relaxing, anyways. So, and I like that. Like Minecraft is kind of my go-to game to relax with. It's very relaxing, and I think that's one of the main reasons why I really enjoy it so much. I mean, what's cool is that nope, I guess my farm is doing its magic right now. Um it's actually pretty funny because Minecraft can be a really intense game or it can be a really low energy relaxing game. It just kind of depends on how you play it. And so I kind of like that aspect about it, especially because, like there are days where I'm like, oh, I want to do something fun and exciting in Minecraft. So I'll go exploring or I'll go, hunting for some kind of rare resource or, things like that. Or, I can just do this, which is I'm just relaxing and hanging out with a bunch of people that I like to hang out with and, just kind of building things and decorating things, which is kind of the main goal of today's stream. I'm still working on the same farm. The farm itself, it's like I said, the farm is done. I just want to, relax and decorate because that's what I really love doing. I absolutely love decorating in Minecraft. It's probably one of my favorite things about this game overall. I'm a very aesthetically involved person. I like things to look nice. It's funny because I even do the same thing around my apartment is I try to I'm a wee bit messy sometimes, I'll admit it, but a lot of the time I really just like to I don't know, decorate my apartment and make it look nice to some degree, and it's something I really enjoy. And it's actually funny because I spent a whole bunch of time setting up the display behind me. I'm not 100% sure if I like it or not yet. I'm kind of just thinking about it and trying to figure out if I like it, but I don't know 100% sure if I like it yet. I'll be honest, I actually wish I had a big, the stereotypical streamer style bookshelf, I actually really wish I had something like that where I could just have a gigantic bookshelf right behind me full of all the crazy cool collectibles and junk that I have because I actually have a lot of various different kind of collectibles that would just be really fun to kind of show off every once in a while, especially considering that, this is a hobby-oriented, stream and things like that. So it'd be really cool to have a nice big bookshelf with all of my neat little knickknacks on it, but don't really have that kind of setup going on right now, so it's a bit tough. Cobalt says, I bet you wasn't expecting that gift I sent you. That's right, I wasn't. I was really surprised by it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Cobalt, out of the goodness of his heart, because I plugged his channel the other day, and because I genuinely appreciate playing games with him, and we have a good time. Like, every time I play Phasmophobia or whatever, chatting with him, we have a really good time. And so I plugged his stream, and I told him on camera and off camera that I would really be interested in playing more games with him. And so he told me that he was really interested in playing some Gmod stuff. And I was like, oh, Gmod, I've never played Gmod, but I know, I've seen stuff with Gmod, and it looks like a lot of fun. And I went ahead and told him, I was like, I would absolutely love to play some stuff like Prop Hunt and some of the other interesting games that Gmod provides. And so he was ever so kind enough to actually buy me a copy of Gmod, which Gary's mod, which I'm really excited to get into. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I've always wanted to play Prop Hunt. That is something that I have always wanted to do back in the days where, like, there's a couple of YouTubers that I watched that used to play Gmod Prop Hunt, and it just looked absolutely fun and spectacular, and that's something I really did want to get into. So I really greatly appreciate that, buddy. I'm very excited to jump into that and have a wonderful time with it, because it looks dope. It looks really dope. And I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Prop Hunt. It's such a cool game. Like, the overall idea of how it functions. I mean, I won't get too deep into what it is, simply because if you don't know what it is, you're going to have a great time when we actually play it on the channel and you guys get to see what it is. So it's a lot of fun. It's like, it's kind of like playing hide and seek, but in a really fun, unique way. So we're going to be doing that for sure, and I'm very excited to get into it. Let's see here. I'll put a block of the... I don't want to use too much gilded blackstone, especially on... because I have to kind of be able to carry it all the way across here. So I'm actually going to just do the bricks right now. Just focus on the bricks. Focus on the bricks. There we go. That looks really nice. Put them there. I always kind of like the little design of like the patches. Like, I did this actually in my my zombie spawner. Was I kind of would put these chiseled blocks and then put like a bit of the either the crimson wood or the warped wood to kind of look like it's like this weird creepy window, and it's got like veins and stuff like that. I always thought it looked really awesome. Let's go ahead and we're just gonna keep... I'm just doing the walls right now. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter that much. So I'll go ahead and try and throw that right back into there. Bam! Oh, that's not what I wanted. Okay, let's try that again. Let's see, I gotta do it just right. There we go. Okay, we fixed it. Problem solved. Blackstone. I got so much blackstone, you guys. It's ridiculous. I don't need all this blackstone, but it's going to be good for this build. It's going to look really nice, if I do say so myself. Knock out these walls. Knock them all out. Replace them with blackstone bricks, because that's how I like it. Cobalt says, I love playing Prop Hunt. You can download some Prop Hunt maps in the add-on section. Just go to trending or top rated and select maps and look away. Note to look for titles with PH or Prop Hunt. I'll look into it. Hey, Rebecca, glad to have you in here. Thanks for coming in and chilling with us. I'm going to put a block right there, and a block right there, and one right there, and one right there. And then I'll just keep on using the... I'm going to use the warped wood until I get over probably right around this section. Then we'll switch over into using the crimson wood. More blackstone bricks, because they look so nice. A little bit of cracked blackstone as well. Looks really good. It's going to look pretty rad. I still am not really sure how I'm going to do the ceiling. I don't really know yet. It's kind of up in the air. We're going to put a gilded blackstone brick right there. Oh, I love the gilded blackstone. Like, I think it's like one of the most nice, like, out of all the blackstone variants, it is by far one of the most attractive looking blackstone block variants of all. Very beautiful for, you know, walls and things like that. I'm a big fan. A major part of it too is that I like gold and I like yellow. Yellow is my favorite color, and thus I like gold for the same reason. So like anything that like any block that I can decorate with that implements gold in some fashion is something that I'm a major fan of. Yeah, no, I read it. I figured what you meant. I knew exactly what you're talking about, buddy, Mr. Cobalt. And we'll put some cracked ones right there, and then we'll just kind of layer this down with the regular bricks like so. And we'll do another one like that. And then I'll start implementing the crimson wood now. Just like that. Looks so nice. Mikey likey. Alright, let's see here. Put one there, and there, and there. And then we'll knock this wall out as well. Yeah, I'm feeling kind of low energy, you guys. I kind of overdid myself yesterday. So, like, when I did the Pokemon stream, I was telling you guys that I was pretty dang exhausted because that was a pretty emotionally high-running stream. I was very, very intense into that game, and I was putting a lot of energy into it, and I was so tired by the end of it. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go get myself some dinner. And then right after the stream ended, you know, Cinder Shadow contacted me, and he's like, we should totally do, like, was it his idea, or was it my idea? Oh, I remember. So what happened was, he basically explained to me how he currently is not able to go to work due to a COVID scare that his workplace is having. So he's kind of, you know, and also he has to watch over his kid as well. Actually, yeah. And so he has to stay home from work for right now. And so he was telling me, yeah, like, I have free time, so we should definitely plan something soon together. And I was like, okay, like, we should plan to do, like, what do you think about maybe doing some Phasmophobia soon? And, like, when I said, like, let's do some Phasmophobia soon, my brain was like, let's do Phasmophobia, like, tomorrow. And he's like, oh yeah, I can do some Phasmophobia tonight. What do you think about, like, 3 hours? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Why not? I don't care. I you know, it's fine. I don't mind. So I was actually, so, like, basically what happened is, I sprinted out to go get dinner because I was absolutely, you guys remember in yesterday's stream, I was talking all about, this delicious pork ramen that my old workplace, serves. And I was, like, totally dedicated to that idea. So I went all the way into town and, you know, went in for some dinner and, had my delicious ramen bowl. It was so good, you guys. So worth the trip. Like, I literally went all the way into town, just to have that ramen. Like, I was, like, craving it. I was like, I'm not, you know, gonna leave this place until I have my delicious ramen. So I went all the way into town. I had to take the bus, but the thing is that, we have free public transportation, but the free public transportation works on a day-based... How did you get in there? Do I just own you now? Okay, I'm okay with that. Welcome to the farm, buddy. This llama is apparently mine now. I apparently have a llama that is mine now, so that's kind of neat. What happened with this llama, I actually know how he got here, sort of, was, last night, well, not last night, but the last time I was playing Minecraft, I had a wandering trader who kind of snuck into my base. I hate wandering traders, so I killed a wandering trader, and I killed his other llama because his llama was attacking me. But this llama right here that's in the pen, he kind of was way off to the side, away from the other llama and the trader, so he wasn't mad at me. So I was like, oh, okay, well, this llama's not mad at me, so I'll just let him live. Like, why not? He can wander around my base. I don't really care. That's fine. He can do whatever he pleases. And somehow, because, like, when I last saw him, he was crawling around up over in this area. So I was like, I'll just leave him be, and maybe he'll despawn. I don't know how he works. So somehow, since the last time that I had to deal with him, he snuck into my pen. So now this llama is mine, I guess. I think, like, maybe he probably, like, climbed down this area and then climbed over here and then probably walked into the pen like that. So that's my best guess on how the llama probably got into my little pen here. But that's ever so convenient because now I have my own little llama friend, which, you know, I wasn't aiming to do. Like, I didn't need a llama friend. But I don't mind having a llama friend, so that's kind of cool. I'm weirdly okay with that. But yeah, anyways, so I went into town, and I had my delicious rama that I so so desperately wanted so badly, and oh my god, it was so good, you guys. And then, so what I was saying about the buses is that the bus works on a day-based schedule, which means, like, after a certain time, like at night, the buses stop running. And I knew that. I was very, very aware that that's how it functioned. I didn't have a problem with it because of, like, the ramen is only served at nighttime at the restaurant. So I had enough time to be able to get to the restaurant while the bus schedule was still running during the day, and then have my ramen, but then it was too late and I couldn't take the bus back. So I had to walk home, which is like a 2-mile walk. And I was aware that that was going to be the case. And I was also on a particular schedule because I had to meet up with Cinder Shadow online within just a couple of hours after having my ramen. So I basically ate my ramen. I chatted with a very cute girl who was working behind the bar. It's been happening a lot to me lately. But anyways, I had a nice conversation with a very cute girl while I was there. I told her about my YouTube channel and all that. And she seemed like she was interested in checking out my YouTube channel, which I was like, cool. Like, you know, come and hang out. It might be fun. But anyways, I had to kind of like finish my ramen, finish the conversation I had with that girl, and then I had to like immediately walk home as fast as I possibly could because I didn't want to be late for my date with Cinder. So I basically, you know, got home as fast as I could, and I was immediately like very exhausted, but I was also still running on adrenaline because I was trying to rush home. And that's how I got through the playthrough of, you know, playing Phasmophobia with Cinder Shadow. And after that stream ended, like, I was so exhausted. I stayed up a little bit longer to kind of watch an anime that I've been enjoying lately, and which was a lot of fun. I've been watching a series called Is This a Zombie? Which is a really amazingly good anime, you guys. Like, I highly recommend it. Like, it was an anime that I watched when I was in college, and, like, I didn't remember if it was good or not, so I was like, well, it could be crap, it could be really good, because I have watched a couple of I've rewatched a couple of animes, recently, that, you know, I used to watch when I was in college and high school. High school and college, sorry. And some of them were really good, and some of them were... I just realized I probably need more Blackstone. And some of them have been really not so good. So, I basically was like, okay, well, this can either be... It might be really good, or it might be a complete piece of shit. So, whatever. It could go either way. And like I said, like, I also had just recently watched a really, really terrible anime just right before watching it. So I was, like, feeling really, like, antsy about the idea of, like, getting into an anime that may or may not be terrible. So I was like, all right, let's try it out and see what happens. So I watched that, like, this anime called Is This a Zombie? ? And, oh my god, you guys, it is spectacular. Like, I have been multiple times now absolutely impressed by how spectacular the Is This a Zombie anime has been. It has blown my mind how good it is. Like, I'm legitimately impressed by it. It's got a very adult sense of humor. So it's like, if any of you guys have watched the show Konosuba, that is a lot of cracked brick, which I don't want. Because I'm trying not to use all the cracked brick like that. So if any of you guys have ever seen Konosuba, it has this very adult sense of humor that is like, you know, it's like, Konosuba, in my opinion, is not really an anime for, like, kids or even sometimes teenagers. It has a very adult sense of humor. And, but it's great. Like, it's absolutely hilarious. And, this show that I'm watching called, Is This a Zombie? Has very similar style of humor as Konosuba. It's very... I mean, it is about high schoolers, but, like, Konosuba is the same. Konosuba is also about, you know, very young adults. So it's, you know, a show about high schoolers, but it's very adult in its sense of humor. It's got a lot of brash, like, you know, sexual humor in it that's like a step above the normal stereotypical sexual humor that like a teenage, you know, targeted anime would have. But it's so good. Like, and the thing is too that blows my mind about it is that the show is hilarious. So right, it's hilarious, but it's also very deep. Like when you least expect it, it's so deep. Like it blows my mind how deep it gets, because the people who write it are genuinely writing a good story. There's horrific moments in it. Like there's genuine like horror. There's some tragedy in it. The characters are incredibly deep. Like they're three-dimensional realistic characters. Like they all kind of like all the characters in Is This a Zombie? They have goals, dreams, aspirations, they have particular tastes, they have dislikes, they have things that they really enjoy. They have various different kinds of opinions of one another. Like they're actually like very intriguing characters. Like they're fascinating. And it's just it's a great show. Like it's very impressive. And the thing that also like that I really love about it that the show is very good about doing is the show will have a lot of silly humor to it. And like they'll have entire episodes where it's just silly and ridiculous and fun. But what the show is really good at doing is the show will send you through an episode that's just lighthearted and silly and ridiculous and fun. And then when you get into that like comfort zone of having a good time, the show will drop a drama bomb on you. Like somebody will like die, or somebody will like, you know, a really oh, you are gonna die. You're dead. You're done. What do you have? What do you have? Do you have anything? Do you have anything that I want? Anything at all? No, you're terrible. You're wasting my time. You come here, you bother me, you invade my personal space, you're done. All of you are done. You're done. Your llamas are done. I don't care how cute you are. I was lucky enough to get one llama who decided to be on my side, which is fine. Get out of my house. Don't be here anymore. Ooh, where are you? Oh, you're dead. You're dead. Get out of here. Go away. Don't ever do that to me ever again. God, I hate wandering travelers. They're the worst. Anyways, back to the anime that I'm watching. I'm in the second season of it right now, and I think there's only 2 seasons total. But the show is just very good at kind of, you know, lulling you into this, like, sense of security where everything feels safe and fun, and then something dramatic or terrible happens to, like, one of the characters or to the storyline or something of that sort. You know what I'm saying? So, it's great. It's such a good show, and I've been enjoying it. And I made sure to recommend it to Perp, and contacted Carly to kind of get her to take note of it. And she mentioned that she's going to put it on the list, and they're going to give it a watch. But I think they're going to love it, because it's not the stereotypical fantasy isekai that Perp usually likes to watch. But it's right in his range of humor. Like, it's totally his style of humor, and I really think he's just going to have a great time with it. And I highly recommend it to any of you guys. I think you guys would have a great time as well. I should catch up a little bit. We're the Woods says, you gold member now, Hobbs. Absolutely. Dude, I love gold. I do actually like gold. Like, I like the color of gold. I like the metal gold. I like, you know, just gold is awesome. I like it. Very attracted to it, definitely. I mean, like, I have, like, a couple of teeny tiny little gold nuggets in my collection, like, that I panned up on a gold panning river, which was really fun back when I was a child, and a teenager. But yeah, you know, gold is cool, man. I like it. I'm a big fan. Definitely a big fan. Where do I want this next one? I'm going to put it up here, like this. Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. I had a little bit of a snack right before I started the stream, so might be a little bit belchy. Yeah, just kind of decorating and having a good time. This is kind of like the kind of stuff I like every once in a while. I just like decorating. I'm weird like that. I'm very aesthetically inclined, if I do say so myself. I like things to look pretty. I even remember when I used to play on the same server as Perp. He used to always make commentary about how I was so obsessed with how things looked. And admittedly, yeah, sometimes I put a little more work than is absolutely necessary for designing things. But that's just kind of what I'm all about, you know? I'm going to put a blackstone right there because I love the gilded blackstone. And I'll put a cracked blackstone brick right there, and then more regular blackstone. Hey, what's up, Richard Lash? Good to have you in here, homie. Thanks for joining us. Yeah. But I've been like, it's weird because this was something I was going to talk about. I might even delve into it a bit more on like a podcast style stream or something. But I kind of have this thing where I swap between anime and YouTube, and I go hard into each one based on how I'm feeling. So like, for example, like what'll happen is my YouTube feed, like I'll get really into YouTube and I'll just watch like YouTube videos for like days, you know, like for a long period of time. And I'll just be, you know, nonstop watching YouTube each day. Like, oh, like tonight I'm going to watch YouTube, and tomorrow I'm going to watch YouTube, and like do all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. And then I, you know, like my feed starts to get stale. Like, I don't know if that ever happens to you guys, like when you're, you know, into YouTube, watching lots of YouTube stuff. Like sometimes my feed can get pretty stale, and I will like get tired of it, and I won't want to watch so much content on YouTube, you know? So what I do is usually when it starts to feel like that my feed is really stale, I swap over to anime, and then I'll just get really obsessed with watching lots of different kinds of animes. And I'll just kind of go back to back on, like, you know, watching a variety of different stuff in my... I have a couple of anime websites I watch a lot. And one of them's been a major pain in the butt to me lately, simply because it's got this, like, it's got pop-ups a lot, which are really annoying, because it's a free streaming site, so it's like, I've accepted the fact that, you know, if I'm going to watch anime for free, I totally get that, you know, you're going to want to give me pop-ups so that, you know, you can deal with what you got to deal with in the way that works best for you. That's fine. I get it. So they're pretty heavy on the pop-ups. And also what's happened recently was, like, this one site that I got into, that I was starting to be a big fan of, but I've already kind of started getting annoyed by it, is, they, like, their player breaks sometimes. Like, they have, like, this weird, looping audio bug that's really obnoxious, where, like, you'll start the player, like, for watching the anime, and then for some reason that I don't understand, it'll, like, start it and then delay it and then start a second one somehow, even though there's only one player on the website. And so you'll get, like, an echo. And then the echo stops when you pause the one that you have control. So, like, it'll... like, I'll pause it, and, like, the first sound will stop. And then it'll go on just a little bit longer, because there's a delay for the echo, and then the next one will stop as well. And, like, most of the time I just have to reload the page, and it works just fine. But then there are times where it just gets beyond screwed. Like, it just gets totally screwed, and doesn't do anything that I want it to do. And it's sometimes extremely obnoxious. And I, like, got to a point the other night where I was, like, watching an anime and it was doing that to me over and over again. And I was like, I'm just going to go over to the other site and watch the other site do it, because this is clearly a major problem for you guys, and it's driving me insane, and I want nothing to do with it. So I've just been kind of swapping between different players. And like I said, I've been watching less YouTube recently, because I've kind of gotten into that point where, like, my feed is getting pretty stale. So, like, the way to compensate for that is I just choose to watch a whole bunch of anime instead. which is not a bad thing. Like I genuinely enjoy anime, but it's like I have to be in the mood, or I have to be at that point where YouTube is really stale for me, because I'd say YouTube is kind of my go-to. That's my go-to form of media enjoyment. So yeah. Let's see here. Rebecca says Drama Llama. Absolutely. Well, those llamas are dead. Except for my llama friend, who decided that he wanted to join me in my Minecraft adventures by jumping into my animal pen, which is kind of cool, I think. Like I said, I was kind of expecting that llama to just kind of disappear, but he was like, no, I want to be your friend. And it's like, okay, you can be my friend, Mr. Llama. I'm okay with that. We can be chill buddies together. That's fine in my book. I'm guessing you don't play GTA on PC. I have not played GTA in a long time. The last GTA game that I played was GTA 4 on the PlayStation 3. And that was a very, very long time ago. So, I mean, I like a little bit of GTA. Like, I've never been super crazy into it. Like, and every time I've played it, it's always been fun, but I always tend to, like, lose interest in it pretty quickly. I mean, there's only so many hookers that I can slap around before I get, bored. Because that's what the game's all about. It's all about beating hookers, and we all know that. Like, everybody knows that GTA is a hooker-beating simulator. Like, that's the whole purpose of it, clearly. I hope I don't get in trouble for saying that. Oh, man. But, I mean, it was fun while I played it. It was funny because it was my sister who got me into playing GTA. That's why I feel like I can't be considered a bad person for enjoying GTA, because it was my sister who introduced me to the games in the first place. I remember being like a young kid and preteen, and because GTA was kind of forbidden for me, at that time. And my sister, who was already much older than I am, me and my sister, we were 9.5 years apart. And my sister, I've explained this to probably a few of you multiple times. My sister is a very hardcore gamer girl. She is like much more intense into gaming than I am. But so I would come and visit my sister, because by the time that I was a preteen, she was already living on her own in her own apartment. And, she didn't get to spend time with me when I was living with my father or my mother at the time. And so, like, her thing was, okay, well, like, every once in a while, like, I'm going to pick you up from school, like, from middle school, and you're going to come over to my apartment, and we're going to play video games together and hang out and relax. And it was really fun. Like, I actually hold those memories very dear to me, because we used to have a lot of fun doing that. And one of the things that I'm sure used to drive her nuts sometimes was whenever I would come over, I would always ask her to either play GTA 3 or, GTA San Andreas. And because I was just obsessed with watching all of the, ridiculous violence in the game, I thought it was so cool. And so I always would convince her to play the game. And, oh my god, those were some pretty funny, silly memories. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not really into it that much anymore. And I mean, like I said, we used to play all sorts of different games. Like, I remember, we also, we used to play Tekken Tag, and we used to play, Okiji the Shadow King? Oh my god, I loved Okiji the Shadow King. I actually still, my sister played that game, and I got so obsessed with it. I would always make her play it, and we would be trading off the controller all the time. And I think one of the characters, like the ultimate waifu in Okiji the Shadow King, I believe her name was Rosalind. And Rosalind was, I had, like, as a kid playing a silly video game, I had a crush on Rosalind. And she had the pink parasol, And her thing was that she had the reason why Rosalind would carry the pink parasol around was because there was like the idea is Okaji the Shadow King is a story about a powerful demon king who has lost his physical form, and the only thing he can do and the idea is that he's like the lord of all the demons, like he is the most powerful demon lord in all of existence. And the idea though was that a long time ago he was defeated and he lost his physical form. So he's like on a quest to, well, he was trapped inside of I think it's like a cursed treasure chest. And he's on a quest to return to his original physical form. But the only way that he can return to his physical form is he has to basically steal the shadow of another human being. And basically gives power to the human being who he is the shadow of, which is why he's called the Shadow King. And the whole thing was that Rosalind, who's this absolutely, like, she's my bae. Like, in Okaji Shadow King, she was always my bae. And the thing is, too, is in Okaji Shadow King, they had a whole system where, because there were multiple girl characters, there were like 3 or 4 of them, I think. And, like, they all would join your team over time. There was another girl that I really liked, but she wasn't my favorite compared to Rosalind. But there was a princess character in there, too, and I liked her because, I don't know about you, but I like powerful women. So she was kind of cute in her own obnoxious, powerful, spoiled princess kind of way. But she was a good character, but Rosalind was great because she was just so interesting, and she was like the classic like tsundere character. So like she was kind of harsh, but she had like that really deep sweet side. And her thing was that she wore I think she wore pink. I was not thinking that was going to be an issue. Okay, so we'll just kind of block it off as fast as I can get away with here. There we go. But anyways, yeah, so Rosalind, she always carried a parasol with her, and the whole thing was that her parasol prevented her shadow from being seen because she had a cursed pink shadow. So her shadow would be bright, pastel pink. It was super cool. And it was this really cute little quirk about her. And the whole story was that she wasn't the only person who was marked with a pink shadow. You actually run into other characters who have them. And I think there's like one other character who was marked with a pink shadow. I just can't remember who it was. But the whole thing was that the people who have pink shadows were people who had been cursed by the Demon King. So basically the guy who's taken over your shadow are like the people who like they once had the Demon King shadow as well. And when they eradicated the Demon King from their shadow, the curse of that, removal would be that their shadow would turn bright pastel pink. Oh, I know! Shit, I hate these guys. Oh, God, I hate them. Oh, God, I hate them. Oh, God, don't kill me. Nope, 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 nope. Oh, I hate Trident Drowned. Oh, God, they're the worst. Okay, give me a minute here. All right, so yeah, it's, I know I went into that huge spiel and all that, but it was a really fun game. Like, I actually adored Okaji the Shadow King, and after me and my sister played it together for funsies, I actually ended up wanting to play it on my own, so where is he? Oh, I see him. He's over there somewhere. I ended up, buying my own copy and playing the game on my own in my own way, and I don't think me and my sister, we beat it together through great efforts, but I never beat the game on my own. there was a part that I got to that was the thing about Okaji the Shadow King was that it's a grind fest. You do get to some points where it's just you're grinding for days, which is usually not very fun. It's kind of like what I'm experiencing right now in my Pokemon game. Like, I'm kind of in the middle of a grind fest, and I'll be able to get through it because it's not as terrible as what Okaji was doing when I was having to grind against it. Is he still down there? He probably is. He's probably some... I guess I could run away and have him despawn, because I don't want to fight him. He's annoying. It was just a really fun game, and I mean, if anybody ever has any kind of opportunity to play Okaji the Shadow King, it's such a charming game, you guys. It's so fun. It's so charming. Like, the characters are fun. It's really silly. It's adorable. The characters are cute. There's different kinds of choices you can make throughout the game, and there's different pretty little ladies that you can choose to fall in love with. But the thing is that you're only, by the end of the game, you have to choose only one girl. Like, they give you like 3 or 4 different options of ladies. I think that the princess might have been called like Lilith or something like that. But you can only choose one of them, and the idea is that when you confess your love to one of the girl characters, it unlocks their ultimate move. So, like, you have to basically admit your love to one of them. And once you make your choice, you can't go back on it. And on top of that, only that one girl character that you choose to fall in love with gets to have their ultimate move unlocked. And if I remember correctly, besides the fact that Rosalind is the most adorable of all of the ladies, she also has the most powerful ultimate move of all the ladies. So it was a fun game. I kind of miss it a little bit. I actually still have it in my collection of games. So if there was ever a reason that I would want to try to go back and play it again, I probably would. I'm sorry, I'll catch up on the chat log a little bit. It's Roxas! What's up, Roxas? Good to see you here. It looks like we've also got Zoo, and we also have Toadies. Hey, guys! Got a whole bunch of peeps coming in here today. Glad to have you guys coming in and hanging out and watching me play some relaxing Minecraft while I talk about old childhood games that I adored as a kid. But yeah, I see Roxas, I see Zoo, and I see is that Tooties? Toadies? Totals? Toodly-doo? Glad to have you guys in here. Thank you so much. But yeah, it's, I need to get rid of these eggs. And I need to get rid of the head as well. I thought I put them all away, but it looks like I have another one in there. But yeah, I loved that game. It was such, you know, reminiscing on it, I really adored it, and it was a lot of fun for me. Zeus says, I gotta go at 5 for class. Well, I wish you luck in all of your efforts for classwork. That's gotta be pretty nice, I guess, if you're trying to do what you're doing and be super uber successful. So good for you, girl. Have fun. If it's fun for you. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I need to get rid of the leads. I need to get rid of the granite, and I need to get rid of the eggs. Okay. So the granite goes over here, and the leads go over here, right inside this little chest over here, and the eggs, I need to actually have a special chest for eggs. Do I have any of these barrels available, or are they all being used? Ah, here we go. I'll put the eggs in here. That's good. Because I think my egg supply might be a little overflowing at the moment. Let's take a look. Might as well go ahead and empty it. Oh god, here we go. Oh god, sheeps and cows! Oh god, I'm sorry, guys. I know you're in pain. I know you're suffering. I'm sorry. I have to survive. I have to. It's important for me. I'm sorry, you guys. I know it sucks being this way. I'm so sorry. Yes, I know. Life is terrible, I get it. I know. Okay, I gotta leave. You're delicious. You feed my belly, and I appreciate it. I'm sorry, little animals. If I didn't have to constantly eat food, I wouldn't do that to you. Alright, moving on. Roxas says, wow, Zoo, I just got out of class. Well, there you go. Different class times for different peeps. That's always good. It's also probably involved with maybe even different time zones and things like that. Okay, so we put those eggs in there, so that's good. I'm going to keep the rest of the stuff on me. I'm not too worried about it. So we're going to keep on. We're going to go on back. Do I need more stone? I do need more stone. I better get that before I forget. Roxas says, hey, Habs, can you please play that game? I did download it, and I will look into it. I'll probably play it a little bit on my own. Here's the thing, though, Roxas, okay? I'm not going to, automatically play everything that everybody tells me to play, because that's just not how I function. I kind of am a person who, does what he feels like, I kind of play on my own comfort level and all that. So, I mean, I did download it. I was reading a little bit about it as well, and I'll probably check it out, but I can't make any promises to you, buddy, okay? Let me go ahead and get this black stone in here. And I mean, it was a free game, so, it obviously, it's not a problem with, purchasing it or anything like that, but I just don't know if I'm going to be able to get around to it on stream. And if I personally am not, entertained or enthralled by it, then I'm not going to play it on my channel. But I promise that I will definitely give it a try and see what it's like. No, the game that you played with your sister? Oh, that's really tough. I would probably have to find a PlayStation emulator. If I wanted to, I could probably go and pull the game out and take a look at it. I do have my old PlayStation 2, but is that jerk still? No, he probably despawned. So I could probably go out there safely and be okay. I would have to probably get my hands on a PlayStation 2 emulator. And then the hardest part, getting the emulator is not the hard part. Getting the game, the ROM for the emulator is by far and easily going to be the... Oh! Okay, that's right. It's up here that I need to be. I was like, wait a minute, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. The hardest part is going to probably be finding the ROM. That is very much the hardest part of doing this. Okay, I'm just going to have to accept the fact that there's water everywhere temporarily. So we'll just go ahead, knock this out. We'll put the bricks in probably right here. But man, I would definitely like to, if I had an opportunity to play it, that would be really cool, actually. Because it was a fun game. It was legitimately a very fun and entertaining game. And I adored it when I was a kid, because I remember, coming over to, obviously I played, GTA, and I played a bunch of other games with my sister as well, but I had such amazing memories playing Okiji the Shadow King. Has a special place in my heart, But we'll see. I'll see if I can pull something like that off. Because I mean, obviously, I'm playing an old, Pokemon game on a ROM, so I mean, I don't see why it would be completely impossible for me to play a PlayStation 2 game on a ROM or something like that. That could be pretty fun. So I'd be kind of down to look into it. Definitely not out of my field of options, that's for sure. All right, there we go. You want to see the case? Class got canceled, says Zoo. Well, I guess you're going to be hanging out with me all night then, won't you? Oh, man. Yeah, I could probably go and nab the game real quick. It was I think I'll do, because I did the, yeah, we'll do some of the Crimson Wood here. Yeah, you know what, while I'm thinking about it, hey, what's up, Cinder? Let me know if you want to do something else today, buddy. You hit me up, if you want to do a late night stream tonight. And it doesn't have to be about what I was asking you about earlier. We don't have to do that. If you want to, do a stream where we play, another multiplayer game or something together, I'd be down for that. So you let me know, buddy. I'm gonna go get that game real quick, just out of curiosity, because I have a bunch of old games that I love and adore. Hold on. I'll be right back, guys. Give me a second. Ooh, it feels good to get up a little bit. Let's see here. Do I still have it? Oh, yeah. Oh, man, these games are good. It's been a long time. Alright, so I went ahead and I grabbed a couple of games that I have very, very fond memories with from the PlayStation 2 days. Let me just kind of swap over to a full screen camera so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. I'll just feel like, we're all chilling, we're all having a good time, so we can just kind of switch over here. I think this one, there we go. Okay. So first of all, this is Okaji, the Shadow King. I adore this game. It's wonderful. It's one. Oh, the disc is. Oh, that's because I know why the disc is not in here. I promise I still have the disc. In fact, actually, it might be in. I mean, I'm not going to grab the disc. I know where it is. I haven't lost it. They're just not in the cases because I have them in a protective like CD case. But yeah, this is Okaji the Shadow King. It's very fun. Lots of very fond memories of playing this with my sister and also on my own. I even remember that I had to hunt this game down back in the day in the early 2000s when I decided that I wanted to replay it all by myself. I had to go to a, what was it? Not a GameStop. I think it was called... It was the game store that was owned by Hollywood Video back in the early 2000s. I can't remember the name of it. But I think it was called like Game Freak or Game something. But anyways, and I had to special order this game because they didn't have any copies when I was looking for it. So they, I put in a special order for it. I had to pay extra just so they could mail it in. It says on the back, a shadow possessed, a spirit released, a journey taken. In an unexpected twist of fate, the spirit of an evil king is unleashed and possesses the shadow of an innocent young boy named Ari. Wielding the burden of the evil ghostly being, Ari and his friends must journey across a wonderfully animated, whimsical world in this struggle between good and evil, light and dark. Manage your team carefully or forever be held captive by the evil king's spirit. And it talks about all the little interesting options in here. But yeah, this was a great game that I adored very much so. Very fond memories of me and my sister playing it together on and off. Let's see. The other game that I immediately was attracted to when I was over there grabbing Okaji Shadow King was this is another game that I have very fond memories with. This is Dark Cloud 2. And Dark Cloud 2 was so fun. This game was amazing. This was a kind of a dungeon diving turn-based RPG game. Where you had kind of a collection of different interesting characters. But there were multiple things that were really cool is it had a system where you would build things, like you would construct weapons and vehicles and different kinds of things. But the other thing besides the construction setup that they had in the game, which was super cool, was they also had a time traveling mechanic. That was so cool. They had the ability to push forward time and also reverse time. And so, like, there were times where, like, you would have to, like, you would come into an area that was totally demolished and destroyed, and you would have to use your ability to travel through time to go backwards before the whole town was demolished, and then you would have to like save the town and prevent the demolishing from happening. And it was a lot of fun. It was primarily a dungeon delver, is what it really was. But it was a lot of fun. It says, build your world, invent your weapons. Like I said, they had this really cool creation system in the game. And create your adventure. Discover a secret binding the past, present, and future. A secret where an innocent inventor, a temporal warrior, and an ageless evil hold the key. Experience an epic action role-playing adventure that relies on your innovation as much as exploration and fighting reflexes. So yeah, this game was very, very cool. And I feel like it wasn't as popular as it should have been. I never played the first Dark Cloud, but this game was spectacular. Like, Dark Cloud 2 was a spectacular game. Another game that I adored, that was way, like, this is a game that was way ahead of its time. Like, this was a game that was very deep. It was very complex. It was way ahead of its time. And it's another game that I think was not as appreciated as it should have been. This is Star Ocean Till the End of Time. And I spent days, weeks, and months like wasting away on this game. This game was absolutely spectacular. It's another kind of like turn-based RPG style game, but it was very sandbox-like, and it's super funny. It was like 2 discs, so like, yeah, because you could see, like I said, the discs are not in the box because I have a little case that has all of them, and this was like a special edition, so it came with this like special foil cardboard box that you keep the main disc in. But yeah, this is a Square Enix, and this game blew my mind when I played it. It was one of the best games I'd ever played at that time. And it was basically, the whole idea is it's a game about basically like this multiverse. It's because you're basically a guy who is in this futuristic world, and you know, there's spaceships and things like that. But in the multiverse that you're playing in, there's all these different worlds, like these little planetoids, and all of the little planetoids kind of have their own environments and timelines, and they kind of had like, they had different like historical like times. So like, to kind of explain that, they had like a world where it was run by dinosaurs and cavemen. And then they had another world that was like a medieval world where there were castles and knights and kings and queens. And then there was like a really futuristic world with like spaceships, and it was kind of cyberpunky. And there was all sorts of different worlds that kind of had their own unique timelines to them. And they were so cool. And they also had this really, it was a very sandboxy style. They had these, like, I mean, it wasn't a sandbox to the truest word. What they did was they created these very large maps that you could explore through, and you would have to kind of like visit every nook and cranny to fully flesh out the map. And you would get like achievements and things like that when you would do that. And all the maps would kind of interconnect into a larger world, which was really interesting. And they even had like a whole system where you could become a inventor. But not only would you become an inventor, because you could become an inventor that created different kinds of items in the game, but you could also become a copywriter, which was really interesting. They had this system in the game that I'd never seen in any game before it, and it was so fascinating. They had a system where you would, like, you could create something, like you could invent something, and then you would go and you would have a license as a copywriter, and you could basically license your item and then sell it to everybody. Like, you could then sell the creation as like a public usage, And then what would happen is you would have all these businesses on these different planets, and those businesses would buy your inventions, but they wouldn't buy like the product. They would buy the allowance to create your product and sell it to other people. So like, which built this like really interesting system where you were making money and fame off of licensing out your ideas to other people. It was really cool. So like, you could become an inventor and you could like sell your products to people, which is like a good way to make money. But you could get into the copywriting system in the game, and you could like basically copyright your products and then sell the instructional abilities to other companies, and those companies would pay you royalties for using your products. It was really clever. And the other thing that was really cool was that they also would allow you to buy the licenses of other companies. So like, you could go and like to one planet that was like a lower, like they could be like you could go to like one planet that had like a higher level of technology than other planets, and you could buy the rights to like a license for a technology that the other planets didn't have access to because they weren't like smart enough for it or capable of reproducing it. And you would buy the rights to that license and then travel to another planet and then sell the license to a company on the lower level planet. And then they would make, and then they had like a stock system, and then they would like make tons and tons of money because they're using your product to make their civilizations better. And then you would make tons and tons of money, and you would own like the stocks of those companies, and you would just like be rich in no time. It was such a cool system. Like, it was so it was just really interesting. Like, I loved this game. It was so creative, and there was so many interesting things that happened to it. They had like trophies, and they also had a version of the game where you could like unlock special features that would allow you to restart the game with those features added onto the game. It was like a new game plus kind of style. It was so cool, like Star Ocean to the End of Time. Great. And then the last game, which I get a lot of mixed opinions about, some people love it, some people hate it. I adore this game. Is Final Fantasy XII. I don't care what anybody says. I know that there's a lot of... You guys will also notice that I have the special collector's edition. I went way out of my way to buy this. Oh, and look, it actually has both discs in it. It's probably because I consider it to be... This is like a collector's item to me, so I try to take really good care of it. It even has a bonus DVD in there. But this is... I know there's a lot of mixed opinions about it, but Final Fantasy XII is one of my favorite Final Fantasy games of all time. And I know that if the Magic Historian was in here, he would love to fight me on it, but because I know that he hates Final Fantasy XII, but I adore this game. And this is not Zodiac. This is not Final Fantasy XII Age of Zodiac. Age of Zodiac is a recreation of this game. And from what I understand, they took a whole bunch of really important features out of Final Fantasy XII when they reproduced it into Zodiac Age. This is the original version. And I love this game because I personally... Now, I know that this is kind of up in the air for a lot of people, but I love the fact that Final Fantasy XII gave you the ability to have blank slates on every character. I like the fact that everybody was a empty book that you could write in your own way. You can create them however you want. You can have them specialize in any kind of skill you want, and any kind of technique, any kind of weapon. Like, you could customize your team to be in the perfect build. I loved the fact that it wasn't a turn-based RPG. All the battles took place in live time. I mean, yes, you had the ability to freeze time to kind of like mess around with the settings, but all the characters kind of operated in their own unique way, and they all kind of were programmed to function in certain ways. And I personally really enjoyed that. I like the idea of being able to control one or some or none or all of the characters. Like the whole system of being able to program each individual character to kind of do what you want them to do, to kind of like run a program or run a particular battle style. And like I even had multiple setups where like, okay, this is the setup you want to do when you're fighting mobs, like trash mobs, or this is the kind of setup you want to run if you're fighting a boss monster, or this is the kind of setup you want to run if you're fighting a zombification boss, or this is the kind of setup you want to run if you're fighting against like a time-based fight, like where you need to be fast or you need to be slow or you need to waste time or, be defensive or be healing a lot or whatever. And I really like that. I love the fact that this game just kind of let you paint everything the way that you wanted it to be. And another thing too is and once again, this is another argument that a lot of people argue with me about. I thought the story of Final Fantasy XII is one of the best stories ever done in a Final Fantasy game. I would say that Final Fantasy VI, with I believe it's Kefka, is the villain Kefka. Final Fantasy VI is probably the best Final Fantasy storyline ever. And then I would say number 12 is probably my second favorite storyline. And then I guess I would have to say number 7 is probably the third best storyline. I mean, a lot of people are like, 7's the best! And it's like, well, I mean, it's a good game. It's not my number one favorite. Like I said, my number one favorite is probably 6 when it comes to storytelling. 6 is my favorite. 12 is my second favorite storyline. And then probably 7 is my third favorite. And I love the characters in this story. I love each individual one. I personally think every single character has depth to them. Like, they all kind of, like, are living their own life. Each character in Final Fantasy XII is kind of living their own lifestyle. They all have their own unique storylines. They all have their own character development. Like, the princess is dealing with certain things. What's his name? Brash? I'm the real something. Vaughn is an interesting character. Pinello is an interesting character. Like, every single character has their own, like, goals and, like, beliefs and opinions, and they all kind of, like, go at things in their own unique way. I just really enjoyed it. Like I said, this is probably one of my favorite Final Fantasy games of all time. So that's primarily, like, I have a bunch of games back there that I really adore. I primarily just wanted to bring out the ones that really stand out to me, simply because I had a lot of memories with these games. They were very special to me in my childhood, and they made a major impact on me. So I just kind of wanted to talk about them a little bit. So I appreciate that we can still hear him. Could you guys not hear me? You guys can hear me, right? Right? Yeah, you guys can hear me. Okay. I was checking my audio input just to make sure. Yeah, you guys can hear me. Bosch! Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Yeah, Bosch was a great character, too. I don't care what anybody says. They were all really good characters. So, I adore Final Fantasy XII. Anybody is allowed to fight me on it if they really want to. But, okay, you guys could hear me the whole time. Thank you. I just wasn't sure, because I read that one comment that Roxas said that says we can still hear him. So I was a little confused. But yeah, those games are very special to me in particular. Another thing is to even show how much I love Final Fantasy XII. Like, I adore it. Because I was kind of talking about this display that I have set up over here now. I have a collector's model. Oh, well, I knocked all that shit over because I didn't care. I have this collector's model. If I can grab it without messing everything up. Here, let me kind of put it up. The Final Fantasy Master Creatures 2 series. And this was Matis the Corrupt, who was a character. She was a summon character in Final Fantasy XII. And she was super fascinating because, she is the... Matis the Corrupt is the name of the demon. And the actual, so it's actually two characters in one. It's Shiva, the goddess of ice, and Metis the Corrupt, the dark demon. And the whole spiel of the character is that Metis the Corrupt, which is the demon, basically corrupted Shiva, the ice goddess, and basically captured her body and basically bound her to himself. So the demon bound the ice goddess Shiva to himself, and they basically became one operational unit. So Metis the Corrupt is like this super interesting, powerful evil demon who was powerful enough to capture an ice goddess and steal her body and use her powers at his own disposal. It's really cool. He's such a cool character. I loved a lot of the characters in Final Fantasy XII. Another one that I wish they made a model of, but he never actually existed as a model, was I always wish that they made a model of Cuclane. Cuclane was the other summonable, one of the other summonable characters in Final Fantasy XII, and I loved him. He's a big, fat, green guy. He's like a big, fat, green dude, and his name was Cuclane. He was so cool to me. I loved Cuclane. He was one of my favorite characters to play with in Final Fantasy XII, and he was just a really fascinating character overall in the game, because Cuclane was a god. I think he was a god. He was like a deity that was supposed to be a deity of purity and beauty. And the idea is that Cuclane, as a deity of beauty, his purpose was to absorb all of the evil and corruption in the world. Like, that was his job as a deity. And what happened was that over time, there was so much evil and corruption and, decay and awfulness in the world, and he continued to absorb it into his body to purify the world, that eventually all of that corruption and disgust and, rot corrupted his entire body, which is why he's this big, gross, green, fat guy. It's just really cool. It's really genuinely interesting. So I love that kind of stuff. I love Final Fantasy XII. It's just a good game. Let me get back into Minecraft, guys. I'm sorry. We're gonna keep going. I will switch over in just a moment. Let me just kind of double check something. Okay, we're good. And I will swap us back over into the Minecraft over here. So let me make sure that is popping up for you guys. What's going on here? Come on, guys. Come on. Come on, Streamlabs. You can do this. I know you can. You've done this so many times before. Come on. Come on. You can do it. I believe in you. Streamlabs. Streamlabs. Come on, buddy. Come on. Listen here, Streamlabs. You've dealt with this before. You know exactly what I'm doing. Come on. Here, give me a second here, guys. Just make sure. Go ahead and come over here. Streamlabs. Come on. Come on. You've done this before. You know what I'm doing. Don't be ridiculous. You really gonna give me a bad time right now, Streamlabs? Are you really gonna do this right now? Alright, hold on, guys. Sometimes it does this. It's done this to me before. Like, most of the time I'm lucky enough that it only does it when I'm not streaming. But... Come on. Streamlabs, don't be naughty. I might have to, like, exit out of the game and then restart it. Here, let's try this. Disconnect. Okay. Let's come back over here. Ah, there we go. Yeah, I had to disconnect. Okay. It's done that to me before. I'm sorry, guys, but we got it all figured out. All right. Let me just make sure that it looks nice. That's looking good. Okay. All right, back into it. Rip Streamlabs. Yep, pretty much. Oh, you said hi in game, but you weren't playing Minecraft. Yeah, I was just AFK for a few minutes, Vlad, while I was kind of talking about some stuff. I was kind of in a podcasty moment there, where I was talking about old games that I used to play as a kid, because some people were kind of interested in that. So I was like, okay, if you guys are interested in me talking about some of the games I played as a kid, then I will show you guys and kind of talk about them a little bit. But yeah, those games were very special to me in my younger age. I have a lot of memories with them. There's a few others, like obviously I'm playing Emerald. I actually stumbled upon some of my old Pokemon games and stuff like that recently, and I was kind of flipping through them. Mostly because I'm playing Emerald right now, so it's been kind of on my mind quite a bit. So I was kind of pulling out the boxes and looking at the games and, just kind of enjoying them for what they are. But yeah, I love reminiscing on stuff like that. It's a lot of fun for me personally. What are you doing, Block? Get over here. Looks like everybody, looks like Zoo is back. Yo. She might still be in the chat room, I'm not sure. Just add a new capture of the game. No, it's fine. Obviously, I took care of it. Wrath of Wood is like, rip Streamlabs. Son of Lad said, I played Dark Age of Camelot. I miss it from time to time. That sounds kind of neat. It sounds like a real-time strategy style kind of game. No! Warp Stem, you're not supposed to do that. Come on. Warp Stem. Get back where you're supposed to be, which is right there. Oh, you're in the chat room too, Zoo? Very cool. Glad to still have you in here hanging out with me. So yeah, we're just going to keep on knocking out these walls and doing what I'm doing here, because that's working out and it's coming out pretty nicely. But yeah, I don't know. I sometimes I miss some of those old games a little bit. I'm not as the thing is too though is that sometimes the idea of playing those games is a little hard for me to get into. Simply because I don't have the same level of patience, concentration, and time to be able to replay some of those games, so that's a little rough. That's it's kind of like what I'm experiencing right now with Emerald is I kind of totally forgot that when I was a kid and I was really able to enjoy those games, it was in a time in my life where I was able to, grind and for hours on end because I had nothing better to do as a kid. So that's a bit tough, It's kind of hard to be able to do that anymore, so. But we'll see. I don't know, just simply because of that fact, I don't know if I'd, I'll look into possibly trying to play Okaji Shadow King again, but it's also that it's rough because I'm aware that Okaji Shadow King had a lot of grinding in it. It was a very grindy style kind of game because I even remembered that I didn't finish it because it was so grindy. I got to a point where I had to give up on it because I got to a dungeon that I couldn't make any headway through. The monsters were way too tough, and to go backwards was very hard to do. It was very tough to get through it. So for the most part, we've done all the walls. I'm thinking that maybe I'll probably do something special with this area, so I'm not going to fill it out right now. I don't really know what to do with it yet. Ratherwood says it's bad damp in here. Hell yeah, brother. It's always bad damp in here. All up in here. Bad damp all day, every day. See, Son of Vlad says that was one of the oldest MMORPGs that I played. Oh, man. I actually, good God, if we're talking about reminiscing about MMORPGs in particular, I was obsessed from, with one MMORPG. I played it nonstop, almost through most of high school, as well as a bit into college. And I even played it for, a while before I started working on my YouTube channel. I used to play. Have any of you guys ever heard of an MMORPG called Maple Story? Any of you guys little Mapleites out there? Anybody? Because holy crap, did I waste way too much of my life on that game. I used to play a lot of MapleStory, and it was kind of a major problem. Sorry, by the way, guys, I'm trying to kind of figure out what I want to do with these ceilings. I'm not 100% sure yet. But yeah, I used to play MapleStory obsessively. I think my account, like, I had 2 different accounts, and one of them was ancient, and the other one was sort of kind of relatively recent. Like, I miss my old account. Like, I kind of really lost interest in the game when my old account was lost to the sands of time. But Ratherwood says he knows of it. Son of Vlad says, I know of it, but I never played it. It's not worth it anymore. It's kind of a dead game, in my opinion. But I used to play it a lot when I was younger. I played it all through high school. I played this really badass... I had a couple of really badass characters. I had a... My most badass character was a paladin. My whole setup... I still don't know what I want to do with the ceiling. I don't want to do it in Blackstone. I don't even know if I want to do it in wood either. I used to have this really crazy powerful OP paladin, and I used to be the junior in a guild, where I was basically like the number 2 in the guild, would that look weird? Let me see. Let me kind of get an idea. I just came up with an idea for what I might end up doing for the ceiling, but I don't know if it's going to look right. So we're going to kind of experiment a little bit here and see what happens. But anyways, I was the number 2 in the guild, so like I was right below the guild leader. I had to work my way from the bottom. Like, obviously, like, when I joined the guild, there were only, like, I think, like, 10 or 20 people in the guild. And so I got really close to the other junior guild leaders, because there were a few junior guild leaders. And, that's kind of interesting. Maybe if I interspersed it with another kind of block, it might be a little better. Not sure, though. But yeah, I used to, like, be alongside of probably, I want to say, like, 3 or 4 other junior guild leaders, and then we had the main guild leader, who was, like, he was a really nice guy. Very kind, very outgoing. He helped me in lots of endeavors. And I ended up climbing my way to the junior guild leader, because I ended up becoming number 2. And the way that I pulled that off was... I was the only guy who knew how to run a shop in the free market, which immediately gave me a major advantage with everybody. And the other thing was that... what if I do this? The other thing was that I was also one of the most powerful members in the guild, because I built my character for durability. It was very uncommon for paladins to be used for survival. Most people, like, there was a particular style of building paladins, but it wasn't, you know, a very popular build in the game. But I usually used my paladin as a guy who would go in, like, I didn't have high DPS, but I put most of my stats into survivability. And what's really interesting that a lot of people didn't recognize about doing that is that if you're a paladin who has low DPS but has high survivability, you can make up for your DPS, because if you're able to outlive everybody else, especially during boss fights, you have better damage overall, because you can't die. And, like, the fact that you can't die means that you just, you know, keep outputting damage. So I ended up quickly becoming one of the most powerful people in the guild, because I just couldn't die. So, like, we had a joke in the game that, like, because we used to do boss runs, we were very good at it. And by the way, I started out in the guild with like 10 other people, and we ended up growing to being multiple thousands of people in our guild. Our guild was humongous. It used to be, by the end of it, we were actually one of the largest guilds in the entire game. And it took a lot of work to get to that point, though. But we used to do boss runs in the game. And I think what I might end up doing is, I kind of like this whole setup that I'm doing right now. But I'm probably going to end up putting some lanterns or lamps, maybe like shroom lights or something up in some of these areas. I think I like this. I think this looks really good. I've never done a pattern like this before with, like, I've never used bone. But you guys might remember before I was thinking about trying to do, what's it called? Quartz. But quartz is so hard to acquire that I didn't want to do it. But I think the bone looks really nice. But anyways, yeah, I basically used to go on boss runs, and in our boss runs, we would have hundreds of people come in to fight a boss. And it was very common for me and the guild leader to be the only two people who would survive the boss run. So, like, there would be like, hundreds of gravestones littered across the boss room with the little ghosties floating above it, trying to, like, watch what's going on. And it would just be me and the guild leader just destroying the boss all by ourselves. It was a lot of fun. Let's see. Son of Vlad says, I have almost a year on one character alone in EQ2. That's pretty cool. That's EverQuest 2, right? Ratherwood says, I almost downloaded it recently. It's free to play. Yeah, I don't think it's something I want to be a part of anymore. I remember trying to go back to it, like, maybe a year ago, just to see what was going on, to remind myself what it was like. And, wasn't having... I mean, it's possible that I didn't like it because, I was playing by myself. Like, I... didn't have any of my old guildies. I wasn't part of the same guild, like any of the guilds that I used to be a part of anymore. Most of my friends list was gone doing other games. And I also used to have, for two different accounts, two different online wife. So, like, I had, like, an online girlfriend for each of the different accounts. And I think I've talked about this in a stream. I had a common habit of just leaving without telling anybody. I would literally just leave the game for like months and months. And fun fact about playing an MMO where you have a wife in the game, they don't really like it when you disappear for months at a time. They get really angry about that. They don't like it. They don't like it when you just... suddenly leave and don't say anything. They're not fans of that. So, I, on my first account, pissed off my first online wife because I did that. And in my second account, I pissed off my second online wife by doing that. So, but that's just, like, the kind of person that I was. And I kind of still am that way a little bit. Like... I'll, sometimes I just step away, and I don't, tell anybody about it. Like, that's just the kind of person I am. I still kind of have that habit a little bit, which is, like, I'll, like, especially with, like, on social media and stuff like that, and it really kind of, like, bothers people, and I understand why. Like, I totally get it, like... Because it sucks when, you're getting to become friends with somebody, especially, like, somebody like myself, and then, I just up and leave, and I won't talk to you for, like, a really long time. And, like, a lot of the time, it's, like, when I do that kind of thing, it's not because I'm mad at anybody, Like, I'm not angry, I'm not trying to ignore you or avoid you or anything. A lot of the time, it's because that's just, like, the kind of person that I am, and like, it's hard for me to be constantly in touch with people all the time, like, and, like, and the thing is, like, my family can tell you that. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, my family is very aware that I have this kind of personal hard time with keeping in touch with everybody, including my family. You know, like I can go for a very long time without talking to any of my family members. But what's really nice is that, like, for the most part, my family understands that quality about me, and it's not because I'm angry or anything like that. Like, that's not what it's about. It's not like that I hate you, or that, like, I am trying to avoid you, or anything like that. But sometimes I just need a break from people in general, or sometimes I just need time to myself, you know? And that's the thing, too, because that's part of, like, I was talking about this a while ago, which is, like, I don't really like it when people kind of try to categorize, you know, others, especially myself, as being either introvert or extrovert, because I personally believe that I'm a combination of the two. Like, I'm a very outgoing person, and I like to be involved in people's lives, and I like to, you know, spend time with the people that I care about. But I also like to have my me time. I like to be on my own, and I like people to kind of leave me be and let me kind of do what I'm doing on my own. And, like, I try really hard to make sure that people understand that it's not that I do it because I hate them. Like, it's just, that's just the kind of person I am. But anyways, you know, people have a hard time understanding that, and like I said, when you are playing an online game and you play it obsessively for a long period of time, and you get to have, like, a lot of friends and a lot of connections in the game, and you even go so far as to have a online wife in the game where, you know, because MapleStory had a marriage system, and I, you know, in both of my accounts, I got married to very nice ladies who were very kind, and they loved playing with me, and I had a great time playing with them, and we even would, you know, Skype and have, you know, very nice chats together. Nothing weird. I have a very no weirdness allowed policy when it comes to stuff like that. And the major reason why is because I have a hard time with wanting to be quote-unquote weird with people that I've never met before. So, I mean, I used to have very heart-to-heart discussions with, you know, people that I met online, and including, like, you know, the wives that I had in MapleStory. So, you know, we used to chat on Skype, and we were pretty close, and I got to know them pretty well, but no weirdness occurred. But the thing is that when you know, get involved in that way with people, they get really mad when you suddenly don't talk to them for like 3 or 4 months. So I would recommend my best recommendation is don't be me. Don't do what I do and leave people alone for incredibly long periods of time, because there's a lot of people out there that take that very seriously. And it's actually really funny too, because I get into conversations with people who are similar in that way, where they get really tied up and they don't have the opportunity to chat with me all the time. And then they get really worried that I'm offended by it. You know, like, they're like, for example, there's somebody that I've been spending a lot of time with recently, and they, you know, contacted me because they wanted to hang out, and we were trying to plan something to hang out soon. And they stopped talking to me for like 3 days straight, which is fine. You know, like, and I sent them one message, and I was totally okay with that, because that's fine by me. I don't care. And then, but like 3 days later, they contacted me and they were like, hey, like, I'm really, really sorry that I haven't like spoken to you in like 3 days. It's not because I'm mad. Like, I've just been really busy with blah, blah, blah. And like, this is going on and all this stuff. And I'm like, it's cool. Like, seriously, it's totally okay, because I'm very similar. Like, it's absolutely the same for me. You know, and I even told them, I was like, listen, like, I just assumed you were busy. And that's okay. Like, that's totally, there's nothing wrong with being busy and you know, having to, you know, do what you're doing. And you know, sometimes you have to step away from people and tend to yourself and live your own life in your own way. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that in the slightest. It's totally okay to be on your own and live your life in the way that you need to live it. We're going to go get more bone in a minute. I did notice that Vlad told me that he would be willing to sell me quartz. I'm good. I actually like the bone look a lot. I like the whole gray circle in the middle. It's very nice and sleek looking. Um, let's see. I mean, I'd even, you know what? Just because Wrath of Wood mentioned I almost downloaded it recently, I might, on my own free time, try and play it again just to see if it's gotten any different. Um, Welcome back, Roxas. Thank you for coming back, buddy. And once again, Vlad, I appreciate you wanting to sell me quartz, but I like the bone look. I think it looks really nice. Let's see. Son of Vlad says wives don't like that in real life either. Fun fact about that, huh? Uh, yeah, like I said, they got really mad at me. Like I remember one of them just up and left and like never responded to me. And I remember having one of my old guildmates contact me and be like, "Dude, she was pissed." Like she was really really pissed. Like really angry that you just up and left and never came back. And obviously I came back, but she was long gone by that time. And the other one I remember was the other one contacted me. Because like I said, Skype. She contacted me and she was livid. She was so livid. And like, it got to a point of where I was like, well, it's very obvious that, you see this in a way that I don't. And I think it's better if we just kind of go our own separate ways, And like, we kind of talked it out, and I got the impression that she was still pretty angry about it, but I felt like that we had a good resolution to it, So it worked out fine. Hey, Maz, good to see you. I hope you got my message today. I apologize for not getting back to you sooner, but I hope that helped out a lot. Ratherwood says, "Oh my god, this reminds me of when I used to roleplay back in the day on Gaia Online. I never played Gaia Online, but I did have a friend who was very into it." Let's see, Zeus says, "I'm an extroverted introvert." Exactly! Like, I don't like it when people are like, "Oh, you're clearly an introvert and only an introvert," or "You're clearly an extrovert and only an extrovert." And it's like, I don't believe in that. Like, I believe that there's combinations of that, and I feel like that I am a very good example of a person who is very introverted at times and very extroverted at times. Like, there are times where I want to, like, for example, I would say that right now, I'm going through a very extroverted stage in my life. Like, I'm making an effort to go out into town. I'm trying to meet with people. I'm trying to eat out more. I'm trying to start conversations with people. I'm trying to, advertise my channel to more people and do more things with people. And so I feel like I'm kind of going through an extroverted period in my life at the moment. But I wouldn't be surprised if I end up jumping back into a more introverted kind of lifestyle at some point soon, Like, that's just the kind of person I am. I go through these periods of my life where I'm kind of a different person during different stages of my life. And it just so happens that right now, I'm very outgoing, and I want to do a lot of things with a lot of people, so... And honestly, that's been working out really well for me recently. I find myself meeting more people that I want to be involved with in my life. And I feel like that also, like, my overall reach with my channel is increasing. I feel like more people are curious and interested in what I've been doing lately. And that's a really good thing for me. So I'm kind of glad that I'm dealing with things in the fashion that I'm dealing with them right now. So yeah, don't ever let anybody tell you that, like, you're one thing or another, like, you're an introvert, you're an extrovert, and it's like, well, like, it could be anything. Like, you could be any kind of, you can be whoever you want to be, and there's nobody out there who can tell you that you're something different from what you've really been. Do I need sleep? No, I'm good, actually, right now, Zoo. I haven't had, any, warnings about, phantoms or anything like that. So I'm actually okay at the moment. But thank you for asking. I appreciate it. Because that could be an issue coming up soon. I have no idea. I'm going to catch up just a little bit more on the chat. Son of Vlad says, "I married myself in EQ2. That's hot." Yes, EverQuest 2. Okay, so I was right. Because it was easier to control for the extra marriage perks. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, my view of it on MapleStory was, oh god, I just remembered I had a third wife at one point. Oops. I just remembered because thinking about what I was about to say reminded me of the third wife that I had. I'm so bad. I'm so bad, you guys. Uh, so what triggered that memory of having that third wife was I was going to say is that I was very aware of the marriage system in MapleStory, and I was told to take advantage of it multiple times. But I had this kind of like sacred understanding of it where I was like, yes, there's all these perks. Yes, there's these buffs. Yes, there's these, bonuses for being married to somebody in the game. But I want to treat it like as if it's meant to be what it's meant to be, which is you like somebody. You spend a lot of time playing the game with that other person. And, you've spent a lot of time with that other person, and you're like, whenever you're online, they're online. Whenever you're playing, they're playing. Whenever you're grinding, they're grinding, and they're always doing the same kinds of things with you all the time. And I was like, that's what the marriage system is for, and that's kind of how I saw it. And that's why I thought of like my third wife, was because my third wife, when we finally decided to get married in the game, it was because we were doing that all the time. Like, I would always be online when she was online, and vice versa, because we just so happened to always be on at the same time. We were always hunting for the same things. We shared items, we shared markets, we shared item storages. Like, we were always working on the same projects together. We were always fighting the same monsters, fighting the same bosses. So it got to a point of where I, in the game, proposed to her. That was the third wife I had. Well, actually, she was the first wife I had, but I'm saying she was the third wife that I temporarily forgot about. I'm so bad, you guys. I'm such a bad person when it comes to that stuff. But anyways, but yeah, like, I just wanted to kind of use it properly. So that's kind of how I saw it. I didn't want to take advantage of it just because of, all the bonuses it gave. Maz says Mabanyagi was the first game I wifed anybody. Fun fact, Maz, Mabanyagi is owned by the same company that MapleStory is owned by, which is Nexon? I think it's called Nexon. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Hey, Mr. Peppa, stay and play. Good to see you, girlfriend. How you doing? James P. says, lurking for a minute, do they have Minecraft for my Atari 2600? Yeah, maybe someday, buddy. Roxas says he has to go again. Okay, thanks for coming back in and hanging out for a little bit. Bo Falcon says, nice, still streaming. Just finished work, long day, time for dinner, and what's left of the show. Well, glad to have you in here, homie. Stay in Place says, just walked into this convo topic and I already agree with you, Habbo. Game relationships are still important to an extent and shouldn't be just used for in-game benefits. I agree. But then again, you're talking to a guy who had 3 wives for 2 different accounts and who also bailed for like 4 or 5 months at a time just because he didn't want to be around online people and didn't want to play the game for 4 or 5 months, and also didn't bother to tell his online wives that he was doing that. So, don't, praise me just yet, Stay and Play, because I abandoned those ladies like as if it didn't matter, and that was probably not such a good thing for me to do. James P says, I don't know if you're saying 2 times the wives, or if you're saying, 20 some odd wives. If you have had 20 some odd wives, bravo, buddy. That's you are working those times, buddy. You are working it. I think I'll probably end up bringing out this area too, but I'm just going to keep focusing on the base area that I'm working on here. I really like this whole bone, chiseled stone look. I think it looks really, really nice. Because I did want to do a quartz thing, but at the same time, I'm actually really glad I didn't go the quartz route. I think the bone looks a lot nicer specifically for this purpose. Like I said, the gray circle in the middle kind of gives it more character. It makes it pop more, if I do say so myself. But yeah, I definitely had a lot of great memories playing those games. Like, the guildmates that I had, Stevie! Stevie was the name of my guild leader, who I was the second to. His name was Stevie. And he, it was funny because everybody used to call him, it was funny because all the guildmates, were allowed to call him by his full name. Full name, in-game name. But only the juniors were allowed to refer him by Stevie. And it was kind of like this, like when you were allowed to call him Stevie, it was like this great honor that he bestowed upon you. And he was like genuinely a super nice guy. Like I had such a good time playing with Stevie and the rest of that guild. And it was funny because there was a guy that he was so, like, we had this one guildmate who was a really great guy. He was also a junior in the guild. And he loved me and Stevie. He was such a great dude and always did really nice things for us all the time. And he ended up being like the third class junior because I was second in command, and he was like third in command. And he had to work his way up to that, but he was such a great dude. And I remember that what happened was we were having issues because I told you me and Stevie were the only two people who would usually be capable of surviving a lot of the boss runs. And it was actually a major issue because we were trying desperately. Stevie was a bishop. So his job was to try and keep as many people alive as possible, and that got more and more tough because we would have like hundreds of people playing with us, you know, coming in for boss runs. Like I said, our guild was multiple thousands, and you know, we would have hundreds of people who would all come online at the same time to do a boss run. And it was up to Stevie to be basically the most... We had multiple bishops, but he was the most powerful one, and he was trying his absolute hardest to try and keep us all alive. And usually it would come down to him trying to keep the bishops alive so that the other bishops could keep everybody else alive, which was very tough to do. And so what ended up happening was this guy that I was talking about, I can't remember his name, but I feel bad because he was such a nice guy. He basically became a paladin to copy my build because my build for a paladin was so unique. Like I said, people didn't really... Oh, it looks like I'm going to have to sleep soon. That's okay. Whoop. What was that? Okay, we're good. We basically needed stronger troops, and my paladin build was so unique because it wasn't focused around high damage. It was just focused around high durability. The whole point was just to live through boss fights so that I could deal the maximum amount of damage possible over a long period of time. So this guy, who was a very nice dude, he actually contacted me way in the past. And he was telling me how he wanted to copy my build, which I was more than happy to help him out with. Because it wasn't like it was this great big secret. Like, I mean, mind you, I completely modified it to the way that I wanted it, so people, you know, weren't copying me or anything. I didn't mind sharing it, but it was just people would scoff at it because they're like, oh, you're not doing an optimal damage build for a paladin. You suck, you know? So, like, I was just like, all right, you're allowed to believe that if that's what you want to believe. That's fine. So basically, he was very interested in my build because it had such a high survivability rate, and he wanted to be able to be capable of making our boss runs easier for us. So he copied my paladin build, and he basically built a paladin that was on par with my character, and he got so good at it. It was so cool. I mean, I was still the best, clearly. He did a really good job with it, and I even recall that he even modified it in a way that worked better for him. And so me and him were like the two people who never died in boss runs. It was so fun. We had a great time playing together. Those were some good memories I had. But, you know, I also played a high DPS build a couple of times. Like, I didn't play it often. Like, when we would do boss runs, I would run my paladin. But, you know, I also had a high DPS build as a Night Lord. And, because I loved the Night Lord class. That was a great class to play as well. And it's funny because Night Lords kind of fluctuated between being uber retarded powerful and being obnoxiously weak based on like what kind of updates and power-ups they had for various different kinds of classes and stuff. Let me catch up just a little bit more because I've fallen behind. Whoa, you guys are chatty tonight. Glad to have you guys chatting with me. Thank you so much. We have 12 people in here too. Very cool. Thank you guys all so much for being here. I greatly appreciate it. Let's see here. Staples says, LMFAO, the things we do in gaming. Yeah, I'm not a very good husband in video games. James P says I divorced twice. Okay, so he meant 2 times, not 20 times. Maz says, I have entire family in Mabanyagi, had a hubby, 3 kids, and 3 grandkids, and in-law. I didn't know that Mabanyagi had a system like that. That's interesting. James P says, what you're building looks very cool. Looks a bit like a chessboard. Why do I feel hungry for Oreos? That does sound kind of good. I bought Oreos a while ago, and they were very disappointing. Stainplace says, LMAO, it's like me with my digital names. Use my username if I haven't given you my name personally. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing is because, like, Stevie was, like... It was weird because, like, Stevie was, like, his honor name. You know, like he was... That was, like... It was like you referred to him as the guild leader name if you were just a member of the guild. But the people who were like the juniors and friends of his, and like we even did stuff offline of the game too. Like we would get into Skype, we would chat, we would organize parties and raids and things like that. And that was all stuff that we had to figure. We would even change up the guild system and figure out who was going to be upgraded to the next rank and things like that. And so we did a lot of those chats offline, and I got to know Stevie really well for a while. He was a great guy. Oh, I just remembered the name of the other guy. The number 3. His name was Joey. His name was Joey. I totally remember that now. It took me a while to remember it, just like Stevie's name. It's like when I really think about it, and I kind of think about being in the... It's, you know, certain memories kind of trigger the names, and it was thinking about being in the chat room on Skype with Stevie and Joey that reminded me of Joey's name. They were great dudes. They were really good dudes. Maz says, told the grandkids to never call me grandma, call me godmother, because I was so strong, love my elf Archie skills and magic. That's pretty cool. Otherwise, Stainplace says, otherwise there's my name for friends and my nickname for really good friends. Helps me separate which comments to read should I miss a username. There you go. Cinder Shadows says, Iron Man wants cookies. Maz says, I was a Dark Knight in Mabanyagi, and the opposite of a Paladin. Dark Knights help with magical spells. That's pretty cool. Paladins, I love the Paladin class in Maple Story. That was one of my favorites. It was just the knowledge of knowing that you are never going to die. That's what made the Paladin class so amazing to me. I love the fact that I was always aware that no matter what kind of stupid mistakes I made, I would never die. It was so good. Let's see here. Your boss name would be Mazakine, the matriarch. There you go. Min-max tryhards really grind my gears. You do you, but don't hate and talk smack. Yeah, I feel that. That's why I played the classes that I liked. And it was funny because people didn't like paladins for a long time because they were, you know, min-maxed badly. You know, you couldn't really min-max them to be optimal. And so people scoffed at paladins, but then they would have an update where they would do a class update to balance, like, the classes, and the next thing you know, paladins are OP, you know? And then they would have another update, and then paladins were OP unless compared to another class that's been updated, you know? And, you know, the Night Lords were the same way, and I played... My 2 favorite classes were always Night Lords and Paladins. I like Night Lords... I like Paladins because they never died, and I like Night Lords because they were really, really fast. They didn't always have the highest damage rates, but they were always really, really fast, and that's what I loved about it. Which is funny, because also, like, Paladins are really slow. So I kind of have this, like, polarizing sense when I play those games, is it's like, I either want to be incredibly fast, or I want to be incredibly slow. It's one or the other, which is kind of funny to think about. But yeah, and I didn't care what optimal builds people were running, because I would always luck sack my way into being OP. Let's see, makes me miss World of Warcraft, says Cinder Shadow. There you go. I mean, if you wanted to get back into Warcraft, my sister recently got back into playing World of Warcraft again. And another friend of mine plays World of Warcraft really obsessively. James B says, what can I say? I'm a fat guy, to Cinder Shadow. Stainplace says, I imagine a massive bow staff halberd and an EMP earthquake gauntlet in the other hand. That's awesome. My name is Tiger Candy and Mabanyagi. Well, am I strong elf? Well, it's actually really funny. I always had this obsession with naming my characters after desserts. So, like, for example, my most powerful Night Lord that I ever built was actually I had a couple of them. I had a what was it? So my Night Lord, there was one Night Lord I had whose name I had a Night Lord named Powder Pie. I had a Night Lord named Enjoy Cake, which Enjoy Cake was the most powerful Night Lord I ever built. And people loved the name. They used to call my nickname was Cake. So like my full name on my Night Lord was Enjoy Cake. But people just called me Cake all the time, which I loved. My Paladin was named something Pop. It was something Pop. That's all I remember. I can't. It was like it was either called like it was either like Squishy Pop or something or Sweet Pop or something like that. And so I always kind of had this habit of naming my characters after like descriptions of desserts and things like that. So like Powder Pie, Enjoy Cake, and I think it was like Squishy Pop or something like that. So, like, people would call my Night Lord Cake, and people would call my Paladin Squishy. I think that's what they called me. So, it's been a long time, so I'm not 100%. I think it was Squishy Pop. That sounds really familiar to me, so I think that's probably what it was. But yeah, those were... and it was fun because I liked cute... Like, I'm weird, okay? I liked cute nicknames, and I also liked dressing up in really cute apparel. So, and I didn't care. In fact, it was very common for my character to get hit on by other men because they thought I was a woman. I always told them I was a GIRL. I was a guy in real life. Because no joke, like there were so many times where, like, because I was a junior in the guild, and so a lot of the guildies would suck up to me. And, but it was also very common that, like, when we would get new guildmates who were dudes, they would always think I was a girl, because like, my character, I would have, like, purple eyes, and I would have long pink hair, and I would wear, like, you know, star t-shirts, and, like, I would have, like, frills on my character, and I had bows in my hair, and I just did it because I liked it. Like, here we go, Habanero is secretly a cross-dresser. But I just liked making my characters look really cute. Like, as you guys can tell with all the work I'm putting in here, I care about aesthetics. I like things to look nice. I like things to look comforting and nice and cute. And so I would make my characters look really adorable. So it was very common. My Night Lord was very effeminate looking. Extremely effeminate looking. So, like, whenever I would get on as Enjoy Cake, and I would, you know, be chatting with my guildies, it was very common for the new guild members to think that I was a woman. And they would hit on me. And I would just think it's hilarious because I wouldn't, like, acknowledge it. I would just ignore it. I would just talk with them normally. And they would just assume I was a woman. And it was very common that, like, people like, you know, Stevie or Joey would be like, hey, just let you guys know, I mean, he's not going to correct you because, like, I did actually find it funny. So I usually, like, if they actually, like, most of the time they wouldn't, like, say, hey, are you a girl? You know, they would just kind of treat me like I was a girl. And so it was very common for Joey and Stevie to have to inform the new guildies. They'd be like, hey, just to let you know, Cake is a dude. Like, Cake is a guy. He's a really nice guy, and he likes to dress up in, you know, pink and purple clothing that is very frilly and girly looking. But he is a dude, so don't forget that. And it was really funny because, like, the wives I had in the game, I had, so one of my, it was really funny because, so two of my wives in the game were very, you know, they also wore lots of frilly, bright-colored clothing like I did. But I had one, I had one wife, I think this was like my second wife in the game. I had one wife who, get out of my face. Bug flew into my nose. I had one wife who loved to dress in like clothing that was black and red and kind of had like chains and like as an aesthetic, and very like, you know, she kind of was like a goth girl. So she wore like lots of clothing in the game that was very black and red and gothic looking and stuff like that. So when me and her would go around as a pair, like to go do things, everybody thought I was the cute girl, and everybody thought she was the edgy, manly guy. And we would get into some of the funniest interactions because of it. Because, like, people would... people would hit on me in front of my wife in the game, and she would be like, "Hey, you step away!" And like, because we would sometimes joke around about it. Like most of the time, she would be like, "Yo, step off my man," and it would scare people away because they were like, "Wait, that's a man? Are you a man too?" Just freak people out. But the best part was, like, sometimes she would get so into it that, like, she would pretend that she was a man and she was defending his girlfriend. And so she would be like, they would be hitting on me, and she would be like, "Boy, you better step off my girl before I knock some sense into you." And it was, oh my god, I'm getting lightheaded from laughing so hard. It was some of the funniest shit, you guys. Like, oh my god, it was so hilarious. Oh, I missed that chick. She was great. Oh my god, I'm so behind on the chat log. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm gonna have to skip some comments. I feel bad because, let me just kind of make sure that nobody has kind of immediately jumped into it. But, I'm gonna catch up just with the most recent stuff that I can see, okay, guys? Stanplay says, "Just don't have time anymore to dedicate 10 to 12 hours a day to a single game." I know the feeling. I can't really play MMOs or anything like that in the same way anymore. Dragon's Lair says, "Rift was way too easy to level up in." I've never played Rift. I remember when it first came out, that I was kind of intrigued by it, but I never actually played it. Zoo laughs at, "Oh my god, Cake Pop." I named all my characters after, like, tasty desserts and things like that. Dragon's Lair Gaming says, "Female dancing class character named Cheesecake confirmed." Yes. Let's see. Ashed says, "I love playing support, keeping tanks healthy and buffing DPSers. My friends loved it. They hardly ever bought healing items and always had 40% added stats." Okay. Yeah, I just, like I said, like, my favorite ways to play were either to be the really slow, unkillable character, or like a tank, basically. I always played either tank or DPS. That was how I liked it. Matt says, "My elf nickname was Bubbles because I always had a flashy blue and pink armor and clothes on. Loved the fancy tiger ceremonial robe. It was my best outfit. It's so pretty and very rare to get. Ran a dungeon 10 hours to get it over and over. Very nice. Was a support elf with a glass cannon." Okay, now I'm going to catch up on some of the old stuff because I wanted to see what you guys thought about some of the stuff I was talking about. Let's see. James P. says he is out. He says, "Stay awesome." Glad to have you in here, James P. He's probably already gone, but I appreciate it. Let's see. Ashed says, "My brother was Quick Killer. I laughed at him for that, and as a joke, my badass name that implied I'm awesome became Phage Fingers." That's hot. Probably like Phage the Untouchable, I assume. "One day the blue wrench will be mine." Alright, stay and play. Let's see here. There you go. You can have it. You earned it. It's all good, girlfriend. You earned it. Let's see. Elfin Mabanyagi, quick glass cannon. Yeah. Just don't... Yeah. I just, you know, like, I was just like... The thing is that I loved being very, very powerful, but also looking unassuming, which is why, like, I always went for the cute look. Like, I always dressed... Like, my characters, like, they were always males. I had a rule, like, about playing my game, because it was MapleStory. For anybody who might have not heard me name off the game that I'm talking about, it was MapleStory that I played. And I had a rule, which was I always played a male character. I never played a girl character, ever. Never, ever, ever would I play a girl character. But the caveat to that is that I would play a male character always, but I would do everything in my power to basically dress up very girlish. I mean, you know, like, the clothing that I wore was, like, because, you know, so in the game, guy characters were not allowed to wear female equipment or girl clothing. But they purposely made, multi-sex clothing. So, like you could be a male that could wear clothing that was very bright and girlish looking, but it wasn't dedicated to girls. So, like, for example, like, I couldn't wear a dress, but I could wear, like, just, like, brightly colored jeans and, like, a pink top with, like, a cute little star on it or something like that. You know what I mean? So, like, that was kind of, like, what I was, all about was, like, I would always wear the bright colored clothing, wore lots of pink and lots of purple, and I had very long, like, my character always had very long hair. And usually my hair was either dyed pink or purple as well. And, yeah, so I kind of always liked having that look. And mostly because I just thought it looked cute and nice. But I also like the fact that, like, my characters would always look really unassuming and not very strong. And then next thing you know, I'm an unkillable paladin, practically soloing a boss or something like that. So that was always something that was very fun for me, and I enjoyed it very much. Okay, so we're dealing with a corner here. That's what's going on. Okay, all right. I am going to have to fill that out differently later. Oh my god, look at the time, guys. Jeez, I totally lost track of time. I've hit my 2-hour mark, so I actually have to end up going, guys. So we are going to end it off here. I had a wonderful time with this stream. This was a lot more eventful than I thought it was going to be. I talked about a whole range of different kinds of subjects. I got to show off some of my old games that I used to play. I got to make some progress on my build. Obviously, it's not done, and I might come back and do it more on stream. Hope you guys don't mind that. I mean, it's kind of nice when I can just get lost in a build and just talk about whatever I feel like, Like, that's what I like about playing that's what I like about playing MapleStory. That's what I like about playing Minecraft. I don't play MapleStory anymore. I just like talking about MapleStory. I like reminiscing about MapleStory. Because I think that if I went back to MapleStory, it just wouldn't be the same. But anyways, yeah, I had a great time. I hope we can do this again very soon in the future. I'm going to go ahead and read a few more things before I go. Dragon Slayer says, it's not a dress, it's a sorcerer's gown. Absolutely. Redwood says, peace out. Cinder Shadow says, good stream. Good night, Habbo. I don't know what I'm doing later. Normally, I'm looking at setting up for my this week in MTG tonight for tomorrow. I understand that sentence. It took a minute for it to click. I understand what you're saying. Okay. Stay Place says, oh, thanks, Habbo. I didn't need one. I just noticed most of the streams I have a wrench in, so does the rest of us, like Maz, Cindy, and Krebs. It's all good. I just, I only give it to people I trust, and also, like, that I spend a lot of time talking with, or, interacting with in games, or whatever. Yeah, and also sometimes, like, the streams actually need some extra wrenches, so it helps. Because I have had streams where I didn't have, like, a wrench, and it would get a little weird, and I would have to moderate it myself, so I usually add wrenches strictly for that purpose as well. I'm just a little bit picky about my wrenches, because I want to be careful about it, so hope you guys don't mind. But anyways, I'm going to say all the normal things that I always like to say, which is like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because all those things really help me out all the time, and I appreciate it. Love having all you guys in here. And also check in the description below for all of my wonderful links. I have a Streamlabs link, which is used for if you want to be seen in the stream when you pay me. That is the link to use. I also have a regular PayPal link, which works just fine as well. And I also have a wonderful Patreon with wonderful Patreon members. Those wonderful Patreon members are the wonderful Mr. Ya Boy Lettuce, the amazing Mr. Bo Falcon, the wonderful Fajouk, the amazing James P., and the beautiful Miss Rebecca. I love all of my Patreon members because they support me to the best of their abilities, and it greatly helps me out. It allows me to keep doing streams like this and producing more more content with a T. And yeah, I just appreciate all you guys. But I also appreciate all of my wonderful subscribers. You guys have been extra supportive lately, and I feel like that we've been doing pretty good on this channel, having all you guys come in and hang out. So you guys are wonderful to me, and I greatly appreciate that. The very last thing I'm going to say, which I always love saying all the time, which is, guys, follow your dreams, okay? You can do it. I believe in you. Have a great night, everybody. You guys all take it easy. I will see you all later. Who knows when that'll be? Maybe tomorrow? Maybe tonight? I don't know. It could happen. You never know. I can't promise anything, but definitely tomorrow. Well, I have a date tomorrow. I'm meeting up with somebody tomorrow. Yeah, I'm meeting up with somebody tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure if I'll be able to stream. I will try to sneak a stream in there tomorrow. But I am going to be going out with a friend of mine tomorrow, so I can't guarantee it that I'll be streaming. So, but anyways, thank you guys all so much for being here, and I'll see you guys all in the next stream. I'll see y'all later. Goodbye. Goodbye, everybody. You guys are wonderful. I'll see you later. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Goodbye.